10 years ago in the far-off land of 2011, I was a fresh, brand new, edgy middle schooler. When I wasn't upvoting rage comics on Memebase, I went around telling other edgy middle schoolers that Black Ops 1 was bad, and that Mass Effect 2 wasn't half as good as the first one. I was an idiot. I was really stupid. But one game came down from the heavens on butterfly wings, and it shot a bullet through my contrarian brain, smashing it to bits like a pumpkin, and it let me see the light that is good game design. Commercials for Dead Space 2 blasted 90s grunge rock and had montages of explosions and Isaac Clarke just kicking ass, really. And yes, I'm gonna play the actual song. Copyright claim me, YouTube. Do it. Do it, I dare. The first Dead Space scared my poor little elementary baby brain so much, I never actually finished it when I started playing the sequel. But Dead Space 2 promised more action, more violence, and less spooks. Plus, my mom hates it, and as a middle schooler, I'm obligated to love all the things my mom hates.
It's revolting. It's violent. It's everything you love in a game. And your mom's gonna hate it.
Why would they even make something like this?
So when the Tobuscus literal trailer for Dead Space 2 dropped, I memorized all the lyrics and ran to GameStop on its launch day, and I didn't buy the game because I was like 12 or something. I didn't have any money, man. But my birthday was in February, 1 month later, and I celebrated the lack of the pre in my teen by having the absolute time of my life playing this game. If the first Dead Space is Resident Evil 4 in space, then Dead Space 2 is Resident Evil 4 on a roller coaster in space. More linear areas, more action set pieces, more necromorphs. Make Isaac talk now. You know what? Fuck it. Let's give him rocket shoes. Dead Space 2 fixes the faults of the first game, improves on what already worked, and constantly throws new ideas at you, which is, you know, the things the sequel is supposed to do. There's more enemy variety. Was there a baby monster in the last game? Now there's 2 of them, plus a complimentary toddler enemy with your meal. And now you can actually use other guns besides the plasma cutter because they don't do whatever the fuck this is anymore. And Zero G went from a massive chore to being some of the funnest parts of the game. But at what cost? If I knew I had to say goodbye to you, Zero G Basketball, I would have never asked for a sequel. Visceral even recognized the fact that Isaac was a big old simp for Hammond and Kendra, you know, the 2 characters you don't remember from the first game, who would boss around Isaac around the entire time telling him what to do. The dev said Isaac will no longer donate to Kendra's OnlyFans for her feet pics, and he doesn't have to fix the oxygen on the ship for like the 3rd time. Isaac has a voice now, and he's in charge and decides for himself when to fix the oxygen for the ship. Having Isaac become a voice protagonist was a fantastic decision.
Fuck you! And fuck your marker!
And while the first game was a collection of Isaac fixing various parts of the ship, Dead Space 2's narrative is actually much more ambitious. The game starts with Isaac trying to remember what the first letter of each chapter in the first game spelled when he's attacked by a monster that really wants my mom to hate this game.
Oh my god!
Chapters 1 through 5, or as the Dead Space scholars call it, the Dangerous Dana's Dementia Arc, or DDD for short, makes fun of the narrative structure of the first game. The first 5 chapters see Isaac blindly listening to some random chick that says she can help him. Sometimes crazy straw man talks to you, and occasionally big scary whatever it takes, Tide Man pops in. But for the most part, Isaac is back to his simping ways and just listens to whatever the lady says. The first third of the game has memorable locations such as hospital, shopping, apartments, train sequence, church, cold church, and big church. But then at the climax of chapter 5, Dana does the whole, you know, haha, I'm bad. She tricks you, and then she gets no Russianed by a giant gunship, and then blah, 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 blah. The story is pretty tame for the first third of Dead Space 2. Sure, we have Ghost Nicole running around, and she plays some minor spooks on Isaac, but besides that, it's not a whole lot interesting's happening yet. Of course, there's the opening and the train and church set pieces, but the first third of Dead Space 2, it feels very safe, if that makes sense. It definitely delivers on the more action, more fast approach that the commercials promised, but nothing seems too out there yet within its design or levels. But then we get wild. Chapter 6 through 10 sees Crazy Straw leading the way for Isaac, and we get to see Ellie's debut game before traveling across America with her non-daddy daddy.
And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
What a fine young woman. I'm sure nothing bad will happen to her in the future. And I believe here's where the game really starts to shine. In the second third of the game, we have memorable locations such as more shopping, Baby Town, 2001 Mario Space Odyssey, generic engineering areas, you love to see them, and 3 chapters from Dead Space 1 taped together into one chapter. More on that later. Chapters 6, 7, and 10 are the real standouts here. Each one provides really unique areas with clever and engaging objectives, and the combat just really starts to hit its stride. The final third of the game, or the Jesus Christ, what is happening arc, as the Dead Space scholars like to put it, sees Isaac going nuclear by driving a hole into private property, killing hundreds of innocent soldiers, shooting Ellie into space so she can star in her next game.
Fuck you, man, I didn't ask for this.
Doing that part of the game that made the most gruesome video game death scene top 10 lists for a couple of years. Thanks, Watch Mojo. And shooting his imaginary girlfriend in the face. We got mines.
Drill, baby, drill!
Private property. Oof, my eyes. And sprinting. Chapters 11 through 15 crank up the hyperviolence by throwing more enemies at the player. Enemies during puzzles, enemies during set pieces, enemies during minigames, enemies during everything you're doing, honestly. We even got the return of everyone's favorite. Guy who can't be killed and you gotta run away from him from the first game. Or Invinci-Guy, as me and my middle school delinquents called him. And I learned in this playthrough that he can open doors and attack you even in rooms with save points. Oh my god! Here is the official Dead Space Scholar chapter tier list. Yes, I'm putting the EarthGov part in S tier. It was hard as hell, but that's what made it so fun. Really, almost all of the chapters in the game are unique and memorable. There's only a handful that don't feel distinct or special, and they're just transitional chapters to get you to the next wicked sweet ones. But what is the best chapter in the game? What is the quintessential moment in Dead Space 2 that we all look forward to when we play it? Is it Babies R Us? Is it 2001 Space Mario Odyssey? Is it just the part where you replay Dead Space 1 again? Is it the part where you kill hundreds of government employees and poke yourself in the eye? All those chapters are triple S tier. But sorry, Mr. Scary Son, we gotta give it up to Dead Space 1 Love Letter chapter. We're gonna break down what I believe to be the best chapter of the game. Is it a unique and unforgettable great game moment? No, that's probably what the eye poke machine is, but we're not gonna talk about that chapter. We're talking about the reused content chapter. But instead of my usual, this part of the game real good, play it please, we're gonna rapid fire all the aspects of why this specific chapter stands out so much and why it's so damn good. Chapter 10 opens with you walking through the entrance to the USG Ishimura. There is no combat and no enemies for roughly 10 or so minutes as you re-explore the same entrance from the previous game. While exploring the entrance area, which is Chapter Uno for Dead Space 1, you can hear the same whispers just like you could if you'd stood still in the first game. There's a brand new bathroom you can explore that features an audio log of a guy talking about the place being haunted and how he hears moving when he moves. This actually happens as the whispers in this room only happen while you're moving, and then they stop when you stop.
It is a bad, bad omen that it's here. I'm putting in for a transfer. You should too.
God damn, games are cool. After the quiet 10 minutes of exploring, the first enemy you fight is a brute that tries to jump scare the player. This is followed by a frickin' second brute and a small horde of necromorphs. The entire chapter goes from stretches of quiet contemplation and Isaac dealing with the stresses of realizing his first game came out the same year as Fallout 3. Nicole pops up repeatedly talking to Isaac that he can't escape his past, and that he should not have nuked Megaton in his first playthrough. We also see the full recording of Nicole which was used to start the first game. It's revealed that she killed herself because she couldn't handle dating someone who openly admitted to liking the Wasteland Survival Guide questline.
Everyone will know about the Wasteland Survival Guide.
Will anyone even get these jokes? Why am I talking about Fallout 3? This bit's stupid. You visit chapters 1, 2, and 4 of the first game within just this one chapter. So sweet baby Isaac will sometimes have PTSD flashbacks to the events of the first game, jump scaring our little boy and the player. You can actually see the soap used to try and disinfect the ship early on in the hour-long or so chapter. I like to think the blue soap is a small visual cue to the black light section of the chapter, which is chapter 2 from the first game. We can see narrative parallels to how Isaac talks to his dead girlfriend Nicole and how he talks to his rental girlfriend Ellie. For Nicole, he's confused and guilt-ridden.
You can pretend not to be bothered, but being here rattles you, doesn't it, Isaac?
And for Ellie, he's trying to keep it together and get them both home to safety.
Are you okay? You sound a little nervous.
Last time I was here, things didn't go so well. Look, I'll contact you soon.
That really doesn't work out though, since Bendy Straw takes the game's eye metaphor way too literally at the end of the chapter. A massive difficulty spike also happens during this chapter. Well, it is 2/3 into the game now, bro, come on, you can handle non-stop swarms of enemies by now. Audio logs of a janitor freaking out and doctors finding human flesh in the walls of the ship, unique gravity puzzles, different art styles and environments, a ramp up of gameplay difficulty, focus on both combat and quiet exploration, the narrative character climax between Isaac, Nicole, Strauss, and Ellie, all wrapped up in a love letter homage to the first game and some of its iconic areas. And that's just one chapter out of this 15-chapter game. As a wise man once said, God damn, games are cool. Now, I've played through this game a dozen times or so. I do it every year for my birthday. It's also the first game I ever considered speedrunning after I finished a hardcore playthrough and I got the platinum. Yeah, that 3-save super hard difficult mode that you gotta play through in one sitting basically and memorize enemy spawns and ammo drops. Yeah, I fucking did that. And here's a clip from There's a clip from 7 years ago where my friend streamed my first attempt.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. No, we can't end this already. Dude, oh the utter defeat on your face.
That loud smack, it's a permanent scratch on my thick boy PS3. I flinged my controller at it because I was an angry kid in high school. But Dead Space 2 is everything a sequel should be. It fixes the jank of the first game, adds some really cool stuff, and it honors, respects, and expands upon the original idea without replacing it. It's a stellar game in its own right, and any fan of sci-fi horror or third-person shooting needs to play it. I just wish my mom didn't hate it so much.
Thoughts?
I thought it was horrible.
In the shadow of the valley, I would like to settle down.